Greetings, I'm Dr. Al Freeman, and welcome to Protocol G Standard 8 Validation Team Training. Standard 8 is new to National Lutheran School Accreditation and Protocol G. In the past, NLSA has had a standard on finance. That finance standard was dropped along the line, and given so many things that are happening in the world of finance, with our Lutheran schools and with so many different programs coming from state and parent choice, we determined that it was necessary to once again have a finance standard as part of National Lutheran School Accreditation. With the finance standard, like all of the other standards, we have potential evidence and potential practices. And one of the questions that has been posed to us by a number of individuals, please remember for each standard that we have in NLSA Protocol G, it will list potential evidence, it will list potential practices. These are items of note that the school may provide as evidence. Schools do not need to demonstrate that they are doing each item listed as potential evidence or potential practice. We did have some concerns from people trying to figure out how they would be able to show evidence and provide so much information. These are just items of note to help guide you in the process of the self-study. One of the other questions is surrounding a requirement that we have now in Protocol G in the finance standard, where it states report of the most recent external financial review or audit. There are multiple ways to meet this standard, and it can either be a compilation, a financial review, or a full-blown audit to meet this standard. Our great desire is that our schools at some point have an audit. We do recognize an audit can be quite expensive. Sometimes, depending on the school, it might run $40,000 to $60,000. Other times it might be $20,000. So it just varies depending on the school and the area that you are in terms of geography. Financial review a lot of times may run the school, could be $5,000 to $7,000. It may be a little additional of that. And then a compilation typically is much lower, might run $1,000, could be $2,000, could be less, but is the lowest standard. With this, and this is our recommendation, if the total revenue is under $2 million, or if the school has a financial concern that prevents a financial review or an audit, then at least perform the compilation. The school, we really seek some type of management letter or information, the date of the financial compilation review or audit, the name of the company, and then for the review or the audit, if the NLSA validation team captain in private is just showing the actual document, this does not have to be a complete review of the document. They don't need to be sitting there for 2 hours or anything like that. It is just a quick show to the validation team captain of the document that does show that you have done the compilation, the financial review, or the audit. So it is just simply verifying. This can take very little time, just a minute or two. And then some follow-up that the validation team captain might have with the business person or you as a school administrator to the principal, just talking a little bit about the financial compilation, the review, or the audit, and a discussion of how do you feel about it as a school administrator in the business office? Do you have any concerns that came out of it that would be valuable for the NLSA review, and so on. And again, what we look at too is if you are a school that has a revenue of over $3 million, you probably should be doing an audit, and you should be looking at the cost of the audit. If you do a financial review year 1 and 2 and an audit in year 3 and then go back to a financial review, or in other words, do an audit every 3rd year, that would be great as well for information if you cannot afford to do an audit every year, and so on and so forth. If you do a compilation, we do ask that you put in the school action plan the work that you will do to be financially able to perform at least a financial review in the coming years, and how you may work to do an audit at least every 5 years of the accreditation cycle. If you have any questions about the compilation, the financial review, or the audit, please contact me in school ministry, alan.freeman@lcms.org, and we will help guide you in this process as well, whether you are working on this as a school or as a validation team. There's also been some questions about the financial model that we have in Standard 8. Again, this is meant for schools to work with the congregation, or if you're an association, to examine school responsibility and church responsibility. What we have found is this is not always occurring, and there can be some misinformation. There can also be some concern about the portion of the building, portion of utilities, and so on. And also for the school to realize if church responsibility diminishes, what the school will need to do in terms of increasing its revenue. So with this, we ask simply that you put in a percent. It does not need to be a dollar amount. At the bottom, it would be helpful if you put an overall dollar amount, the total cost to run the school, and the school's portion of that, and the total cost to run the school in terms of the congregation support of that, so that we have an idea. And it also helps us overall when we are working with school starts. It helps us when we are working with Lutheran school consulting visits, where we are helping schools either grow or become sustainable. And we can see the models that are out there and what those look like, and we can help address issues and concerns, and also identify what is healthy in terms of school responsibility and congregation responsibility. So with the required indicators and what is expected for Protocol G Standard 8, a review of the governing authority and schools departments' finances are conducted by an external source, CPA, someone without vested interest in the school or the governing organization. Basically, what we are saying is simply it should be done by someone who has an arm's length from the school itself or from the congregation itself. So there's no vested interest. And it is, again, best practices. And it's best practice not to have a conflict of interest of what is being done. 802, sources of income and expenditures reflect the school's stated mission, vision, projected future, and purpose. Again, this is a very succinct description providing a response here of income coming from tuition, congregational support, fundraising, and how that is utilized for the vision, the mission of the school, and what the projection is of those categories for the future so that the school is financially sustainable and growing. 803, capital, long-term indebtedness, obligation, and payment are adequately funded with an established plan of repayment. Again, it's an examination here, just making sure that the school has a quality plan, funds are in place, and that indebtedness is being addressed and the school is not in fiduciary crisis. 804, the governing authority, including the school, has a comprehensive insurance that includes all of the following: liability coverage for school, including employees, board members, workers, volunteers, and students. All facilities, so your physical facilities as well as vehicles and so on. Coverage for natural disasters, could be fire, floods, earthquakes, hurricanes. All furnishing and equipment is also covered. So to receive NLSA accreditation, the answer must be yes. A statement from your insurance carrier simply stating that yes, the school is insured, has comprehensive, adequate insurance that covers these areas in 804. So there's no need to provide the entire insurance plan or go in depth about the amounts and so on. What we're asking for is that the governing authority signs off on this and says, yes, we have adequate coverage, and that you have a letter from your insurance carrier stating that the coverage is up to date, payments made, and that it is adequate as well under best practices. Obviously, this is quite important. We've seen some of our schools that do not necessarily have insurance plans that have covered these items, and also flood insurance too. If you are in a area that floods on a frequent basis or may be susceptible to flooding in the future, it is advisable to examine flood insurance as well. 805, Governing Authority annually reviews compensation packages for all leadership, faculty, staff, part-time, and other workers, and the compensation reflects, and it can reflect any or all of these: LCMS district recommendations and guidelines, Concordia Plan salary compensation tool, or consideration given to local public schools and what their compensation is as well. One of the items that LCMS School of Ministry has noted over the last 3 years, we have been doing a survey of Lutheran educators and administrators in terms of retention and recruitment, and salaries have been identified as one of the factors as to why we have individuals leaving the profession or concerned of entering the vocation. So it is quite important to make sure that you have a plan when it comes to compensation, salaries, and benefit packages that are acceptable to district guidelines and are of nature that provides for retention and recruitment of our church workers. General indicators of success. There is a video tutorial that has been done on general indicators of success. There are several general indicators of success for Standard 8. We ask, in terms of scoring, that you watch and get trained on the NLSA Protocol G general indicators of success by watching that validation team training series. Thank you so much for agreeing to serve on an NLSA validation team. Thank you for your willingness to provide your talents, abilities, and time to further your own professional growth, but also to affirm great things that are happening at one of our Lutheran schools and their ability to grow and serve their community and be a Lutheran school of excellence. May God continue to bless you and bless our Lutheran schools as they do His work.